Christopher Bryant is the area coordinator at Cabrini College. Prior to working at Cabrini, Chris worked as the coordinator of housing at Pennsylvania Academy for the Fine Arts and was a student resource specialist and resident director at Marshall University.
I think, running a first-year building at my last job, the things I see the most is the engagement piece. And so trying to get them to want to do things at an institutional level is really challenging. And so I noticed that something that Marshall started implementing was trying to recruit students to be their little hashtag was one of the herd before, because Marshall's the thundering herd, and so they started doing that before they got there. So they'd send them a t-shirt when they became a student, and so you'd post it on Twitter, and like it would share through all the social media. So like there's that pull to come to the institution before you get there. And like, when I went to Shepherd as a student, even working there, there is this understanding when you come in for orientation that this is a school that's focused on community service. And so it's ingrained in you from the second that you set foot on that campus, and so everybody does it. So it's why they have, they're in the top 5 for Relay for Lives in the United States, because they raise anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000 a year, and they're based on their ranking, based on their size of the institution and the money they bring in. And so there's just this really strong pull at these institutions. And so and I think that's what I've noticed, like, working at the art school. It's a very specialized thing, and so there was no such thing as like school spirit or a mascot, or because it's an art school, so like they're here for art. They're not here to be, engaged in that respect. And so I think it's really about the institutional buy-in and like getting them excited about being there. And I think we do such a good job at some institutions with that first year. We're like, oh, and then the second year we kind of are just like, well, you figured it out. You're on your own. I think every school that I worked at struggled with that we don't do a lot of resources for that second year for students. We kind of build them up and say you need a lot of help first year, and then second year we're like, no, you got to figure it out, or you've got it figured out now on your own. You don't need us. And so I think those first 2 years, the first year I think we might do a lot of stuff, and the second year we kind of leave them high and dry. So I think that's part of the disengagement piece, though. So like if you had so much hands-on stuff in second year left your own devices, you might become disengaged with the institution and not care. So I think second year, sophomore year is really crucial, and I think a lot of schools do poorly with that. But if you look at like national data, retention rates for sophomore students going from first to second semester institutions is horrible. The transfer rate is really high, and I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I do know that like for whatever reason, the numbers are fairly okay at most institutions for first year, but I think it's a result of that disengagement that second year, that they just feel dissatisfied and they go somewhere else. So